In the year of our Lord 1324, the city of Timbuktu breathes knowledge like other cities breathe air. Within the vaulted chambers of the Sankore Mosque, beneath ceilings stained gold by 1,000 oil lamps, a man moves with the patience of someone who has made eternity his companion. Amadou Kouyaté runs calloused fingers across the spines of manuscripts. Treatises on astronomy, theology, mathematics, each leaf of parchment a civilization compressed into silence. The scent of tanned leather and dried ink mingles with desert heat. Outside, camel trains groan under the weight of salt and gold, and merchants argue in a dozen tongues. But here, Amadou knows only the sacred arithmetic of preservation. He has given his life to these pages. What he does not yet know is that one page, buried deepest of all, is about to take that life apart. The caravans of the trans-Saharan trade routes carry more than gold and salt. They carry secrets. On a sweltering afternoon in the season of Harmattan winds, a Tuareg merchant stumbles through Sankore's great gate, his indigo robes stained with the dust of 1,000 desert miles. His camel-leather satchel hangs heavy against his trembling ribs. He finds Amadou among the stacked manuscript bundles, the smell of acacia gum and aged vellum thick in the archive air, and presses the satchel into his hands with the desperate urgency of a dying confession. The merchant's amber eyes flash with something Amadou has never encountered in all his years of quiet scholarship: genuine terror. Then the man collapses onto the sun-warmed mud-brick floor, and the library falls utterly silent. Whatever rests inside that satchel has already begun to change everything. The oil lamp gutters. Shadows pool in the corners of Amadou's cell like dark water rising. He unrolls the manuscript across his knees. Goatskin worn thin as a whisper, its ink pressed from crushed acacia galls, still sharp after decades of silence. The script is court Arabic, precise and deliberate, the hand of a man who measured the heavens and found them merciless. As Amadou reads, the heat of the Saharan night seems to thicken, pressing against him. The astronomer's words are not allegory. They are not poetry. They are calculation. Cold, methodical, devastating. The current sultan's bloodline, the text declares, will be extinguished not by enemies beyond the empire's golden borders, but by a hand that once held his own. Amadou sets the manuscript down. Outside, somewhere in the darkened Medina, boots are already moving. In the amber half-light of the imam's private chamber, where frankincense smoke curls between columns of bundled manuscripts, Amadou speaks the unspeakable. The old cleric listens with the stillness of a man who has carried difficult truths for decades, then rises, pressing trembling hands against the prayer-worn wall. His warning is not cruelty. It is love, hardened by survival. Imperial ears are already pressed against Timbuktu's alleyways. Eyes paid in gold scan every courtyard and scriptorium. The manuscript must become ash before dawn. But Amadou cannot do it. To destroy knowledge is to unmake God's own light. This is the conviction that lives in his marrow, older than his fear. He bows respectfully, retreats into the corridor, and clutches the hidden text to his chest. Somewhere in the city below, boots are already moving through the dust. They come with the morning dust still clinging to their robes. 12 imperial soldiers, their iron-tipped spears catching the first merciless light over Sankore's mud-brick minarets. At their head rides a general whose face reveals nothing, a man forged in the Sultan's absolute will. From the library's upper terrace, Amadou watches through latticed shadows, his breath shallow, his fingers pressed against the cool clay wall. Below, the courtyard fills with the sound of iron striking stone, of sacred quiet shattered. The soldiers, horses stamp and snort, disturbed by the smell of old parchment and lamp oil drifting from the archive's open doors. 13,000 manuscripts. Centuries of human thought. All of it suddenly, terrifyingly, vulnerable. Amadou does not yet know what he will do, but his feet are already moving. Beneath the mosque's eastern wall, where the mud brick meets ancient stone, Amadou's fingers find the seam. A door known to no soldier, no sultan, no living soul beyond the brotherhood of keepers. The passage exhales centuries of dust and cedar oil, the breath of men who feared this very moment. He moves in absolute darkness, the manuscript pressed against his chest like a living thing, its parchment warm against his racing heart. His sandaled feet read the passage by memory. 17 steps down, a shoulder-width turn, the grit of Saharan sand beneath his soles. Above him, boots thundered across the library floor. Below him, silence. Amadou carries not merely ink and vellum, he carries the irreducible proof that men once thought freely here. And he is not yet done running. The torches come first. Then the soldiers, iron-tipped, indifferent, their sandaled feet raising red dust across the Sankore's sacred threshold. Amadou presses himself into the dark recess behind the eastern colonnade, his breath held like a prayer half-spoken. He watches as centuries of accumulated wisdom, Quranic commentary, astronomical charts, the trade records of a civilization, are torn from their cedar shelves and fed to the hungry air. The imam moves forward, arms outstretched, a man offering his body as a wall. The blow is swift, merciless. He falls among scattered pages like a toppled minaret. The smoke rises, acrid and sweet, with burning acacia ink. Amadou clutches the forbidden manuscript tighter against his chest, each heartbeat a small defiance. The fire does not yet know what it has failed to consume. He walks alone into the vast Saharan dark, a single figure swallowed by an ocean of stars. Beneath his rough-spun robe, bound in oiled goatskin against the night's biting cold, the manuscript breathes against his chest like a second heartbeat. Behind him, Timbuktu's mud-brick minarets dissolve into shadow. The mosque, the library, the 12,000 volumes he has tended like living things. The acrid memory of burning parchment still clings to his lungs. His sandals find the ancient caravan road south, worn smooth by 10,000 merchants and pilgrims before him. He carries no gold, no provisions, only words, dangerous, imperishable words. Every step is an act of mourning. Every step is an act of defiance. Yet somewhere ahead, in the scholarly halls of Jenne, other hands are already waiting to receive what he bears. Jenne receives him like a cautious embrace. Its great mosque rising from the floodplain, the Niger's breath thick with river clay and smoked fish. Amadou's hands, still bearing the ghost calluses of Sankore's shelves, arrange new cedar boards against unfamiliar walls. A sympathetic scholar named Ibrahim provides the space. A boy named Yusuf provides the hunger. Together, they constitute a library. The prophetic manuscript is placed first, not hidden now, but centered, like a hearthstone around which a new fire is built. Amadou shows the boy how to hold a page as one holds a wounded bird, firmly enough to protect, gently enough not to harm. What was burned in Timbuktu begins, tenderly, to breathe again here. But the soldiers who destroyed Sankore have not forgotten what they failed to find. and imperial memory is long. The years have carved their passage into Amadou Kouyaté's hands. Hands that once trembled before imperial soldiers, that pressed forbidden parchment against a beating heart in the dark. Now those same hands gesture softly through amber afternoon light, as a young apprentice bends low over fresh vellum, reed pen scratching memory into permanence. The ink smells of iron and river water. The old librarian speaks slowly, choosing each word the way a trader weighs gold dust, grain by careful grain. He knows what empires forget, that power dissolves like salt in the Niger's current, but a written word, once preserved, becomes immortal. The sultan, whose name once silenced rooms, is dust. The prophecy that condemned him breathes still, patient inside its binding. And somewhere, in a library Amadou has not yet dared to name, another manuscript waits to be found.